OWCS is ending for the year this weekend. Here is everything you need to know about it. First things first, before we go into the actual stuff, Hazard will be shown off gameplay-wise for the first time during the event sometime on Friday before he goes live for us to play for the weekend. So if you want to get in and watch that live, whenever they do that, this is the place to do it. So OWCS does not just have competitive Overwatch stuff, it also has the first gameplay look of our new tank. They've actually done this before. They did this in the OWL finals from 2022. They showed off Ramatra for the first time there, even though he was still like a month out from actually coming to the game. That was really cool and fun. So if you want to be first in on Hazard, this is the place to do it. But this Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, DreamHack Stockholm will be hosting Overwatch Championship Series final tournament for the year. This is the big one. This is for all the marbles. This is going to be like the OWL playoffs for OWCS. There are 8 teams still in, but I want to let you know about everything you should know about this tournament. So this is the bracket. This is a pretty standard double elim bracket. So right now, this is the upper bracket here. A couple of the first matches. We will talk about the teams later and we'll come back to this. But just know, the teams that lose here will still have a second chance, right? You have to lose twice in order to fully be booted out. And the grand finals will just be a best of 7 instead of best of 5 like everything else. Let me go ahead and do that, make the look a little cleaner. The biggest thing, though, is with the scheduling, because if you're like me and you are North American based, this tournament is going to suck to watch because they are doing it, starting in like the midday in Stockholm, but they're going through the night. When you start in midday in Stockholm, you are starting very early in the morning in North America. So if you are on the West Coast, I'm so sorry, but the first game on Friday starts at 2 in the morning and they go basically for the next 7 or 8 hours as well. So here I will be going to work this day. I probably won't catch Team Falcon's Twisted Minds because it's probably not gonna be the best game ever. But I will be trying to catch the rest of the games, and they will probably go long. They have a schedule here, but I know how these things go. Some of them are probably gonna go long. So don't fret. You'll probably still be able to see some of the later games on the 23rd on Saturday. They start at the same time, and then the finals will start an hour later. Ooh, you get an extra hour of sleep if you want to watch the finals. But that is what you need to know. They will also be doing drops as well, which we'll talk about in just a second. But make sure when you watch on YouTube or Twitch, you have everything hooked up so you can get those drops for watching. They will be per day. So there's a different wave of drops on Friday, a different wave on Saturday, and a different wave on Sunday. So if there's only certain things that you want, maybe just watch on those days as well. Okay, the prize pool crowdfunding bundle has been out for a little bit now, but if you want to join in on the prize pool, you can. These are technically the Florida Mayhem's OWL skins. They've repurposed them as the mega bundle. 25% of the proceeds go to the prize pool, which is, I think, pretty standard. I don't really know, to be honest with you, but I like the skin. I got it. I had some coins left over. Always want to help out competitive Overwatch wherever I can, but this is everything you get in the bundle, and you don't have to get the bundle. You can get everything individually, but I will say this bundle is very cheap if you get the bundle. Comparatively to other Overwatch bundles, I think this one is legitimately a good deal. It's about a little over 3,000 coins for 3 skins. It's a much better deal than most of them, so it actually is just straight up 3,000 coins. So that's pretty nice, to be honest with you. That is going to go through December 3rd, so you have a little bit of time extra. So if you watch it and you get inspired and you want the skin, sure, you can go ahead and get that later. So viewership rewards we have here. Watching for 5 hours every day will net you different things. The first one being Brig related, the second one being Torb related, and the last being Mercy related. Now, this is obviously because the first two are the Swedes. We are in Stockholm, Sweden, and Mercy is Swiss. So I guess Swiss is close enough to Sweden, even though Mercy, you would think that Mercy would not be on the final day if it's in Stockholm and she's not even Swedish. But my guess is that she is Mercy, and she's much more popular than Brig and especially Torbjorn. So they probably figured it was a better bet to get people in and watching on the final day where it really matters. But again, you have to watch 5 hours every day. So if you couldn't give a rat's ass about Brig, but you really love Torb, just watch on Saturday. Just make the plan. Maybe just wake up and turn your Twitch on and then go back to sleep, because it'll be early, but you know, that's the price you have to pay for international tournaments like this. We got Dallas in the second half of the year, so we can't really complain too much. If you're there, you get some extra stuff. Apparently, I don't know if you have to buy it, to be honest with you. This is like a premium thing as well. If you're also there, get this sweet looking hoodie and these coins, sure. And then the socials, blah, blah, blah. You can stream on YouTube and Twitch, but you can also follow some of the co-streamers. There are going to be a bunch of them. These are all the voice talents. These are some of the co-streamers. I think there are actually more, but if you have your account linked, you don't have to watch the actual one. You can watch one of the co-streamers and get all those rewards as well. All of that out of the way, let's talk about the actual bracket. Now, before we get into the teams, there is something that we need to know about the bracket, is that this was what they were playing in Collegiate this past weekend. Mauga, Reaper, Echo, Brig, Juno. That is the typical comp that you will see. But this tournament is not being played on this most recent patch with the Super Mauga buffs. It is actually being played on the last patch before Mauga got buffed, before Queen got nerfed, but still with the Orisa nerfs from the, from the beginning of the season and all of those. So what does that mean for the meta? Well, Orisa probably won't see much playtime because she is not nearly as good. And Mauga probably still will see a lot of playtime, even though he's not going to have all these buffs. But look out for maybe like Queen showing up places. Winston will definitely show up on dive maps, and a lot of teams will want to take other teams to dive maps. So we are not necessarily looking at Mauga mirrors the entire time. But there is a possibility that we do see a little more Mauga than I think we would like, and especially Mauga mirrors. So that is kind of what we're looking forward to, the meta. Hopefully there's a big shakeup and maybe there's something that we don't see. They found like a different strategy in that time, but for the most part, be on the lookout for kind of those characters, those types of compositions. So going down to the teams, we have Toronto Defiant, who are the #1 seed for North America. They have had a pretty good season, although they have had a couple of lows, to be honest with you. They've been competitive, but with the rest of the world, but they have not really been able to get over all of Korea yet. Korea still being very dominant region overall, but Toronto Defiant definitely have everything that they need to succeed. They just need to execute the plans better. I think they are pretty good, although I will say their most recent performance against Nightmare was a little shaky. Even though they won, they still went the distance with them in that series, and Nightmare are nowhere near the level of Toronto, at least on paper, and they definitely are near the level of the Korean teams that are really going to be vying for that trophy. So Toronto are going to have a little bit of an uphill battle ahead of them, but I think that they can do it. Nightmare, however, are definitely a dark horse here. I think they have been playing much better recently, but I don't know how they're going to feel about this upcoming meta. And I also just, they have a lot of players, and they've been very good recently. I don't know if they're really going to have what it takes to take down teams in the other regions, but they have been a lot better and very consistent in this region in North America. So there is still a shot for them to make a nice upset, like maybe one nice upset in the lower bracket somewhere. So don't count them out, but I would not really be looking at them to win. And then there is the NRG shock. And even though they have the Dark Lord himself, PGE, odds are they are not going to do very well here. They did not do very well in the tournament before this. In fact, they got 5th in the final NA tournament. They just still qualified off of all the league points that they have. And although they've beaten Toronto Defiant before, they also lost to other teams in NA who were not Toronto or Nightmare and got 5th in that tournament. And NA is not a particularly strong region overall. So I think it is a little cooked for NRG. So if they can get one good map without it looking too bad, hopefully that will be good for them. But unfortunately, I think NRG is just going to kind of crash and burn when they get up onto the stage, which really sucks because you hate seeing teams not perform very well because it's just uninteresting and you're just like, well, why are they even here in the first place? So that is something to look out for. Space Station, however, I think have a really good shot. They have, a lot of really good players. They have Hottie and KSA. They have a really solid tank line. Their backline is really good. They've been the best in Europe, and I think that they still look really, really good in these brawl metas. They could show a really crazy look with Reinhardt, or they might just show a very solid Mauga gameplay. And the DPS line is also really adept at a lot of the characters that have been good recently and might be good in a potential Mauga matchup. So that is also really important going into this one. I think Space Station could... I honestly think they'll do better than Toronto. And right now, I'm thinking that Toronto are not going to do as well as we think they're going to, and I think Space Station are really going to be the ones that really show up here. Because I think they just work really well in these types of comps. They don't need to be flexible, even though they do have a decent amount of flexibility now that they've picked up KSA as well. They just do what they do very well, and they've been playing together for the most part for years at this point, and they really show the they've shown everything that they need to really do well. So look out for Space Station. ENCE, however, have not really been doing as well as I think we've wanted out of them, and to be honest with you, going into this meta, I don't know how they're going to fare. I don't think anyone is really on any of their signature heroes or anything that's super comfort. So unless they play super off meta, I think ENCE are going to find themselves in a really weird spot. Hopefully they don't go out first. They can at least get a nice, good series in there, put up a good fight. But to be honest with you, I'm not really expecting that much from ENCE compared to who they have in their roster, which really sucks. But again, Space Station have been the best in Europe, and ENCE had been the best in Europe, but I think Space Station have really shown that they know what they're doing in comparison, and ENCE have been floundering a little recently. I hope it doesn't end that poorly for them, but I have a feeling that it might. Twisted Minds are a really weird case where their team has undergone a lot of changes and a lot of turmoil over the course of the season. They have had really rough spots, and they've had really good spots, and Twisted Minds did qualify under some very particular circumstances, to say the least. I don't think they should have deserved this seed. I think another team, Virtus Pro, should have been here in place of them. But this is what we have, and I don't think they're going to do very well. Just putting it out there. They have to go against, I think, Crazy Raccoon or Falcons immediately, which are the Korean teams. So not looking good for Twisted Minds. I would not expect them to do much going into this tournament. And of course, Falcons are the first seed of the tournament, or of Asia. I'm pretty sure of the entire tournament as well. They have just a very solid roster, an incredible tank lineup. They've got all the off-tank heroes and all the main tank heroes solid. Their backline is crazy. They have double flex if they need it, but they also have a very good core Chio fielder, main support, flex support, and I mean, the DPS lineup is probably the best in the world. They have Hyperflex proper, they have very good flex DPS player Stalker, and of course they have Hitscan Extraordinaire Happy. And they can do any combination of those that they feel like they might need, although I feel like proper typically gets most of the playtime a lot, and then Stalker and Happy come in depending. I think Falcons look really, really, really good, especially going into unsure metas. Falcons are a very good bet to have. They have everything that they need, and even though they are so flexible, they still can play at that very high level. And I would definitely expect, like right now I'm thinking Falcons probably take this whole thing, unless Crazy Raccoon have anything to say about it. Now they have also been in fact they have been the top of Korea for the most of the season. I think Falcons have just been kicking it off recently. Obviously they've been really good, but they've been really taking it to Crazy Raccoon recently. But again, they have, they've got a good flexible tank line. They have a good, very good DPS line as well with Hitscan Extraordinaire Lip, and Heesang and Knife. And of course their backline, Shu and Chorong, is a very solid main support, flex support, right? And since we're in a Juno Brig meta, we will see a lot of Juno Brig. They don't need double flex support, so that is definitely not a problem for them. I think it's pretty safe to say that the top two teams for this tournament are Falcons and Crazy Raccoons. Will they be able to beat Falcons, who have been besting them recently? Will the meta shake up for them in a proper way? Who knows? We'll have to find out very soon. And just looking back at that bracket right now, I'll just give you pretty quick takes about these first couple of games. I think Falcons Twisted Minds will be a slaughter. Falcons will just move on very quickly. Space Station Nightmare I think is really interesting, and I think Nightmare may make them second guess a little bit, but I think ultimately Space Station will win the series, probably like a 3-1, but there is a world where Nightmare bring them to map 5 and make it look scary for them. Crazy Raccoon versus Shock will again be another slaughter for Crazy Raccoon. It's not even going to be anywhere close, unfortunately. PGE, good lord, maybe he pops off. I doubt it, unfortunately. Sorry, buddy. And then Toronto Defiant versus Ents. I think this will probably go in Toronto's way more handily than we would want. I think we probably want to see more out of Ents, but unfortunately, I just kind of don't see that happening. So at least right away, I don't think against Toronto they're going to have it, but who knows? Maybe they're able to get a map. But yeah, that's at least what I think for those. And again, I think that Falcons will probably end up winning. That is what I'm going to say for now. But that is it. Very long video. Please, if you like this, subscribe to the channel. I have done competitive analysis before, and I will probably do some when this ends, so be on the lookout for that. Comment, what are you looking forward to? Who are you rooting for? And what kind of meta do you want to see for this weekend? I would love to hear it. Like the video while you're at it. And this was streamed live, twitch.tv/Lane Hemingway. That's Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays. I'd love to see you stop by. And if you want to talk anything, all things Overwatch, join my Discord down below. A couple of community events in there recently, maybe some in the future. So that's all I've got today for you guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please have a good day.